Testing, check, check, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Check, check. Testing. All right, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We would like to open this meeting at 6:31 p.m. on the 6th of May. We'd like to start with the statement of acknowledgement. We'd like to acknowledge that the land we meet on today is the traditional land for the Kaurna people. We respect their spiritual relationship with their country, and we would also like to acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Greater Adelaide region, and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. I'd like to start with the roll call. We have apologies from Natalie White. Do we have any motions to grant leave of absence? No. And in non-attendance, we have Abby Palmer, Ethan Palmer, and Ren Bennett. Item 3, we have public open forum. I don't believe we have anybody this evening. Item 4 is declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations of interest? Item 5, we would like the confirmation of minutes. Do we have any questions regarding the minutes? Assuming everyone's had a read over them. Can I please have a mover? Jack. And a seconder? Edward. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 6, business arising from minutes. Do we have any business? No. Oh, Cody?
I just wanted to mention a follow-up to the motion from the February meeting where about the removal of the busking permit fee. That went to council and got approved. So there is Ren, who was just saying your motion for the busking permit fee got approved, and so now there is no application fee for buskers to obtain a permit in the town of Gawler. So congratulations to the Youth Committee on that.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. We now have Ren here, so thank you for joining us, Ren. Item 7 is decision reports. Can we all please turn to page 4 in the agenda and have a read? This is regarding the sponsorship of Josephine for softball, receiving $100. Do we have any discussion regarding this once we've had a read through? All right. Yes, Councillor Davies.
So just a question. I noticed that just looking at the previous ones, the July round there were 9 recipients, and the October round there were 8, and then for January there was 2, and April there was 1. Is that a reflection of just the times of year that sports happen, or is that a reflection of, I don't know, a lack of marketing or something?
Through the chair, it is a time of the year, but it also means that we did have another spike in COVID. Even our programs did have lower numbers, but also, again, definitely spiked because January, just after Christmas, was less sporting competitions. But also we are in review of our poster as well, so when it goes out on social media, we're not seeing the same images over and over again, so that should be back for the next meeting for review.
Alrighty, thank you everybody. It is the officer's recommendation that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the application received from Josephine for the youth sports person sponsorship of softball totalling as $100 be approved. Could I please have a mover? Emerson, and a seconder? Edward, Thank you. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. All right, we are going to turn to page 8 now. 7. Page 8. We've had some more applications since the agenda was finalised, so they've been provided on the handout. You should have a handout with some little grid boxes. We have 3 individuals expressing their interest tonight, maybe 4. We'll start with the 3. 3? Perfect, thank you. We have Bernie, Liliana and Ace. We'll invite Bernie up to the stand if you would like to talk about yourself and let us know why you are interested in the committee. If you press the button.
Right. So good evening, committee members and the future committee members as well. I'm glad here I have a chance today to talk about myself and why would I join the community. So firstly, an introduction about myself. So my name is Bernie, and I am currently studying Gawler District College as a Year 10 student. I believe this is important to have a representative for Gawler District College, as Gawler District College was not represented recently. I am also part of the Interact Club at the Gawler District College, and I am impassioned about to make improvements on my school and the community, as well as the environment. I am from China, which I believe I can bring some different perspective on matters and other ways which can improving and solving problems for the school and the community. I am here to represent the multicultural side of the school and the community. I also have a passion on public speaking, debating, and I am really interested in international laws as well as the environment, as well as I am really promoted Gawler Town more internationally. I represent the needs and the reviews of Gawler District College students and the Chinese community in Gawler. In conclusion, I would like to be the part of the YA community and the Gawler committee and the Gawler community. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much. Does anyone on the committee have any questions for Bernie? No? Perfect. Thank you very much. If you'd like to have a seat. We also have Ace and Lily in the gallery. I believe Emerson is going to speak on behalf of those two.
Yes, I will start with Lily because Lily's name's first on here. Lily is a part of the Gawler Youth Band and Drama and has volunteered in Gawler. They are currently interested in wanting to have more music events into Gawler, and also they're currently wanting to. Oh, I really should have got someone else to write this. They want to introvert in the community, like they want to help out in the community and be a part of it. And yeah, you can read their skills and interests if you like.
Thank you. Would you like to move on to Ace?
Yes, so Ace lives in Gawler and they've started attending some of the Gawler youth programs, and they've shown interest in wanting to make a change in their committee and being more aware of what's happening in Gawler.
Perfect, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Lily or Ace? Nope, perfect. I'll ask Bernie, Lily and Ace to please head out through that door. Chair, if you would like to shut the door behind them, thank you. Alrighty. We'll have a little discussion. Does anyone have any comments they would like to add, or any questions, concerns, queries? Jade?
I personally love how confident Bernie was speaking in front of an audience. I know, being a brand new member myself, I definitely struggled to speak in front of an audience. And I guess I don't know Liliana and Ace as well, but I hope that those who know them can kind of see their potential if they are comfortable speaking in front of audiences. Of course, it's not a requirement to be part of our group, but engaging in discussion is very valued within our committee. And I think, particularly Bernie, just from hearing his speech, I think he'd be a valuable member to have. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody else? Jack?
Thank you. More of a question to Emerson as the representative for ACE and Liliana. Just wondering if you could speak a little bit to their, I guess you said Liliana was part of the Gawler Youth Band. Is ACE also part of that? Maybe it's Liliana then?
So Liliana, or Lily, is part of the Gawler Youth Band and has been a part for, I think, a year, maybe 2 years for now. And they definitely do have the confidence you were wondering. They've been to many gigs, they've sung out in front of people, and yeah, they're just willing to take the next step into the community. And with ACE, ACE is just recently starting attending some of our youth programs and just seem to have a really big interest in this. So they're wanting to make a chance, have a chance to try.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. We also have noted here that Lily volunteers with the Gawler Makers Market, which is in this hall and downstairs as well. Anything else? Councillor Davies?
So just, obviously, Lily's under 15, which is our, the 15-25, but obviously it says, under special circumstances, those aged 12 to 15 will be considered following recommendation by the council officer. Is there anything else we need to do? Is recommendation by the council officer just this motion? Yeah, so everything's a good, yeah.
Through the chair, it is for the committee to decide, so based on the information about Liliana, whether you feel she's ready to join the committee or if you think she needs a little bit more time, that's up for discussion now.
Darcy?
How many spaces do we have left in the committee?
Through the chair, we currently have the 2 spaces, but as of this meeting, we will have 2 people resigning and 1 person ageing out. So we'll have 5 spaces left. So yeah, so with 3 applications in, we'll still have 2 spaces. So we're back to 11 committee members again, if we accept all 3.
Thanks. Sorry, I just wanted to confirm that even though it says here we've got 2 vacancies, but we've got 3 EOIs, if we put a motion to council that we accept all 3, that goes fine?
Yes, it may be, should we move the resignation of Abby and Ethan forward so that the vacancies are clear before we accept? So how? Yeah, but do we need a motion to bring that forward in procedures, Deputy Mayor?
I don't think I don't think we have it on the agenda.
No, so that was going to be a motion without notice coming up.
We have a motion without notice
Anytime? Okay. Would you like to do that then? Call for a motion without notice?
All right, we're going to call for a motion without notice. I believe, Jade, you'll be covering this one. Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to put up a motion without notice that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the committee acknowledges the resignation of Abby Palmer and Ethan Palmer, and that the committee thank Abby and Ethan for their service on the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee. I'll start with that one and then I'll move and second
Thank you.
that.
Can we have a mover for that one, please? Edward. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Jade's a mover and a seconder. Edward. Thank you. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Is that the only one for now? All right. Perfect. Thank you. We have 3 vacancies now. So do we want to vote for all of the new members at the same time or individually? Same time.
Unless anyone has an issue with one.
Is anybody opposed to the acceptance of Bernie, Lily and Ace? Nope. Yep. Yep. So it is the officer's recommendation that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that 1, it notes the expression from Bernie, Liliana and Ace for membership to the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee, and 2, having considered the nomination of the candidates for the vacant Gawler Youth Advisory Committee positions, Bernie, Lily and Ace be appointed to the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee for a period of 2 years. Could I please have a mover? Darcy, and a seconder, Jack. All of those in favour? Thank you. Carried unanimously. We'll let our members back in. Although our recommendation hasn't yet gone to Council, we would like to congratulate Ace, Bernie and Lily. The committee will recommend to Council your active membership next time that we meet. So thank you and congratulations. Item 8. Oh, yes. Item 8 is information reports. We'll start with 8.1, which is the 2023. Hold on.
Oh, that is,
Sorry. It is, sorry. We'll try it. Isaac.
Hello, sorry, just quickly, I should have done this at the beginning, but of course this is my first YAC meeting back. So I know most of you already, but for those of you who don't know me, my name's Isaac. I was a member of the YAC for about 4.5 years before jumping off when I was elected to council, last council election. So hello everyone, and great to be back.
Thank you, Councillor Solomon, and welcome back. We will continue off at 8.1, which is the 2023 Gawler Youth Report. I will hand over to the Youth Development Officer, Debbie, if you would like to speak.
Yes, thank you, through the chair. So this report is a reflection of what we have done in the last year. So it's recapping 2023 as a document to document our achievements, successes, and celebrate the talent of our youth in our community. This way we can look back and say, this is what we've been doing in our town. It also captures the interest of programs and gives us an idea of what programs could look like in the future, obviously youth-led as well.
Thank you, Debbie. It's the officer's recommendation to Council that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that it 1, notes the 2023 Gawler Youth Report, and 2, thanks the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee members and Youth Development Program volunteers for their significant contributions to Council. Could I please have a mover? Edward. And a seconder? Max, thank you. Was there any it's probably a bit late, but was there any discussion regarding the report? Jade, thank you.
Sorry to jump in at the end, but on page 26, in regards to the Skill Up courses, I can see there's only a total of 18 participants. Was this due to, as you've said before, COVID and having to cancel courses, or has there just been an overall decrease in participants?
Through the chair, this obviously Skill Up courses haven't been going for that long, so also this is like steady intake, so like self-paced online courses. There has been definitely an increase in this year already, and it depends on how many times, you know, like different schools are picking them up as well, because obviously they're registered courses and they go towards different SACE points, different things like that, and it's getting the word out because it's not just young people, it's 14 up.
Jade?
Oh, sorry. And I'll also just clarify that these courses are free to residents of the town of Gawler. And does that allow residents from outside of the town of Gawler to join these for a fee, or if they have their own council-based courses?
So through the chair, the criteria is live, work, play a sport in the town of Gawler. So say they work in Gawler, they're still eligible to apply. Or if they play football in Gawler and volunteer in Gawler and something like that. So it's the same criteria as it is to access our programs. So in that sense, people outside of the town of Gawler would probably have to approach their council.
Hand over to Jack.
Thank you. I just guess, not really to a discussion point, but I just wanted to point the committee's attention to some of the statistics in the report. So I guess the one that stood out to me the most when I was reading through was on page 14, where 45 out of the 97 attendees for the Skill Up program were attending the job search and interview skills, which I thought was quite impressive, but also kind of an indicator of what I guess the township is looking for. And I guess it's a testament to the youth space's ability to provide that in that gap. But also in the memberships, we've gone from 32 to 107 on page 17, which is quite impressive to see and quite exciting, which is an increase of 234%. So yeah, encourage you all to have a look and sort of reflect on what's happened that's got us to this point. So yeah, thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Jack. Any more questions or comments? Perfect. Thank you. We had Edward as the mover and Max as the seconder. Are we happy with that? All those in favour? Thank you. Carried unanimously. We're going to move on to 8.2, which is the Gawler Youth Development Officer Update Report, and we'll hand over to the Youth Development Officer again to speak.
So through the chair, thank you again. We don't normally have two reports, but we once a year will capture the whole year. So thank you. We've just had April school holidays, but I will let one of the young ones talk about that later, a bit more in detail, but that also included our skate park event. Term 2 has started this week. Band did come back last week because they're in the middle of recording their next new song. We also will, I do want to thank all of our volunteers, even if it's just volunteering on this committee. It is really important, and we do have a lot of volunteers that spend a lot of hours in our programs and behind the scenes, and without them we couldn't actually run the programs. So it is very, very thankful for our volunteers, and we do have Volunteer Month coming up, and there's some invitations gone out to everybody if you can attend that event. The other thing is next June we decided to have a team building in the youth space, also a little bit of farewell for Jack, but we can talk about that later. And if you've got any allergies or anything, please come and talk to me about that, because we will be doing some things there. We also want to do some new photos of our YAC committee, so we will arrange that hopefully at that event as well, if we can.
Thank you. All right. It is the officer's recommendation to Council that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the Youth Development Officer Update report be noted. Could I please have a mover, Jack, and a seconder, Edward? All those in favour? Thank you. Carried unanimously. All right, we're going to move on to item 9, which is items listed for discussion. 9.1 is the Chair's verbal update. I have not met with the Mayor as of yet, however that is pending. 9.2 is the Youth Advisory Panel update. We also still haven't met. We scheduled a meeting for Wednesday and then it got moved to Tuesday and now it's been moved back to Wednesday. So I'll keep you posted next meeting. 9.3 is the Gawler Youth's Accessibility Through Transport. Max, if you would like to speak on this.
Okay, so not much has been done with this. We had Xanthi that last year that was working on it. They're not on the panel anymore. So I put on something in the Facebook group asking people wanted to join. So far we've got Darcy and Deb. So we'll make a Facebook Messenger group chat for that. If other people want to join, it's not too late, obviously. So just let me know or respond to the thing I put in the group chat and yeah, just say that you're interested to join. Just for context, it's basically just looking at the gaps we have in transport in Gawler at the moment, particularly obviously for youth. There's some big ones out there. Gawler is obviously a very car-dependent town, so that often means that kids often fall through the cracks when they're trying to get to places, whether it's work, school, or to see friends. So hopefully our discussions will maybe shine some light on this and we'll see where it goes from there. But that's kind of the gist of what the group is there for. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask. I can hopefully answer them.
Thank you, Max. Any questions? Councillor Solomon?
It's probably more to Debbie, but Max might be aware as well. Council is currently undertaking what's called the Integrated Transport Study. I'm just wondering, has that been forwarded on to Youth Advisory Committee members yet, or to you, Deb? No? Okay, because that's, I might follow that one up then, because that's, Council's currently trying to assess all of the transport around the town. That includes everything from car parking to public transport. Obviously, the public transport is really important there. And one thing that was lacking a little in some of the consultation they'd already done was young people taking part in that. So if you're interested in having a say in that, or you feel strongly about public transport, I'll make sure that when the appropriate time is, that gets sent around.
Perfect, thank you. Hand it back to Max.
Is it on? Okay. Just a question, Isaac. Is there a rough timeline for this plan of like when feedback can be given and when feedback will close?
I'd have to double check. On that one, but I'll do it straight after the meeting. Yes.
Thank you. Any more discussion on that one? Jack?
Testing? Yep. I guess it's a question for Councillor Solomon, but I was just wondering if you might be able to give a quick update, I guess, on what the scope of the study encompasses. Is that more a case of like council strategy, or?
I can, if you like. It's some of it's probably relevant, some of it's probably not so much. But there's two major studies which are being undertaken at the moment. There's been a couple of public sessions or public forums held here in the Civic Centre. One of them, Councillor Davies might have to remind me if I get the name wrong, but is the Gawler Growth Strategy 2046, and the other one is the Integrated Transport Strategy. So it's essentially the plan for the town for the next couple of decades, and it's looking at all kinds of different things. So at the moment, it's very sort of blue sky, very high level. You know, what are the things that you like about the town? And then there's that's for the growth framework, and then for the transport one, it's a bit more specific, but that's happening at the same time. So it's focusing on absolutely everything and anything to do with transport in the town. So it's at a very high level at the moment. So that's why the feedback's valuable, because if you get feedback which is oriented towards it's all about cars, then what you get is a lot of items down the track that are solving problems that are all about cars. But if you get a really broad perspective there, and it's highlighted that public transport is something that's important, then you start to, when you get to the more specific levels, then you start to get things around how can we improve public transport in the town. So that's why it's important to engage in that first level to find what people care about. And as I said, young people are generally underrepresented in a lot of those consultations as well.
Thank you. Handing over to Councillor Davies.
Yeah, just to add on to that, it is, the reason that it's two different things combined is because the growth is very important to the transport we build, in that, for example, Concordia, which is just next to us, is going to have 10,000 houses. So, but that's a decade, 10, 15 years away-ish. But if they're going to do that, they need to discuss, should there be a train station? Should the train station extend out that far? And if so, should there be a stop along, Gawler East or wherever, where there's, currently not that much public transport? So that's sort of part of what we're discussing. And it does need, because we had a public consultation, but, all of the data that they find is typically not geared towards, it's sort of geared towards working age people, and because they have census data on this is, 95% of Gawler workers get to work by car or whatever, but that might be true, but it's not representative of, the young and the elderly, basically, who are sort of left out of there, and I've pointed out there's some issues with school routes, there's sort of, people make dodgy runs from the Tamburlaine station to Trinity College, running across the road and through private property or whatever. These are things that need infrastructure. They need, and that's the stuff that you need to have feedback on, is things like school routes, because that's where a lot of the congestion comes in, is at 9 o'clock in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon when the school comes in and out. And having, better public transport for that would help with a bunch of congestion issues. So that's the sort of, broader sort of stuff we're discussing, and I think it would definitely be good to have some youth input into it.
Thank you, Councillor Davies. Jack?
Thanks. I won't hold up discussion any much longer on transport, because I could talk hours on this. I guess I was just curious as well, because a lot of stuff you both mentioned was about, like public transport in the sense of state-owned and state priorities, that's their sort of problem to deal with. Is there much focus on, council assets and infrastructure that you can sort of have impact on, now, without having to go through advocacy and sort of meetings with ministers?
Thank you.
So public transport is fundamentally a state government thing. We don't control either the buses or the trains or the train stations. We're responsible for maintenance of the bus stops, but not where those bus stops are. But that is an area where we would be working with the state government. We would have an advocacy role there as opposed to a direct role. The stuff that we do control is the footpaths and that sort of thing. So, if currently you live out in Orleana Waters, Everton Gardens area, and you're sort of don't feel safe, because there's areas without lights or footpaths or whatever, and so people don't go through there. That's the sort of stuff that we can, as a council, directly fix in the short term. But public transport, fundamentally, we don't control the bus schedule or the bus routes or the train schedule or the train stations, but we can make it so that there are footpaths to the train station.
Thank you. Councillor Solomon.
I'll just add really quickly that while buses and things are state government, they are owned by state government, a lot of the time when state government does their planning, they'll come to local councils and go, hey, we're doing a plan for the state here. What have you got in terms of your plans for your area? Rather than go out and try and consult with all the individual areas. So that's where it is really important. Also with planning as well, around things like bus stops and train stations. You know, it's about making them accessible as well. You know, whether the footpath goes all the way up to the train station, because the actual station can be as accessible as you want, but if the footpath stops and you have to go over 100 metres of gravel or uneven land to get to the train station, it's not accessible at all. So those kind of things is what council looks at, as well as the advocacy.
Thank you. Hand over to Jade quickly.
Leading on to the footpath discussion, was Councillor White's kind of motion around the footpaths with Xavier and that crossing there, is this feeding into this transport discussion? And it's not quite entirely public transport related, but footpaths and children coming to and from school and safety surrounding that.
So I'm not, neither of us are, I think, remembering what the exact motion is, but I know there are issues around Xavier. This is something that we're sort of working on with neighbouring councils, because Xavier is in the Light Regional Council because it's in Gawler Belt, but it does involve a bunch of, again, dodgy running around Williston in questionable traffic circumstances that we would like to get resolved. So I'm not sure where they are at with that, but I know it has been brought up.
Thank you. Max?
Yes, I just have a question about what the committee can do for both the growth strategy and the integrated transport plan. Are we allowed to put forward formal submissions for council plans and strategies from this committee?
Through the chair, I'd say the first step is, if you are interested, we can invite the relevant staff members to come and give a presentation to the committee, and then they can fill you in on the timeframes, how far they've progressed, what they still need from groups such as the youth committee, and then we can proceed from there.
Potentially we can have a motion without notice at this meeting expressing interest in the youth committee having a workshop or something around the growth strategy and the public transport, or the transport strategy.
Sorry, this will be my last thing. Just flagging, I did have this brief discussion with the mayor about the integrated transport strategy, and she is keen for more youth representatives in discussions, so I fully support any sort of idea of putting submission in formally through the YAC or through your own networks as well, and I encourage, that you go wide and far.
Thank you. We are going to wrap up 9.3 and head to 9.4, which is Spike Month. Jack, if you would like to speak on this.
It's pretty quick. I don't really have an update as of today. But yeah, would suggest that maybe Bike Month gets incorporated in points 9.3 in future discussions down the path. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Any questions? Perfect. We're going to move to 9.5, which is the youth programs update. Emerson, if you would like to speak about the school holidays.
Yes. I didn't go to them all, but I did go to a couple. They went really well. It was quite fun. We had special effects. We've had polyclay, and there was airbrush tattoos. There was, of course, making the new song with the band. And the ones I went to were quite fun, quite engaging, and if you are looking for something to do in the holidays, like when it comes back up, highly recommend it. Highly, especially if it's a program with Tony running. Tony is so funny and so fun to hang out with. But yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Emerson. We'll hand to Edward to speak about drama.
Sorry. So, with just coming back from our 3-week break for school holidays, we are currently starting to think about more details into our next year's Gawler Fringe performance. So, we are thinking into what it could contain with our kind of parody performance thing. So, we're looking into the details. I keep repeating the same thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect. Thank you. I believe that it's also going to be an Adelaide Fringe performance. So will it be underneath? Someone was speaking about it. Gawler definitely, but someone mentioned something. Possibly. As the program, yes. Perfect. I'm supposed to speak about band, but not a lot has happened in band. We're back tomorrow from the holidays. But through the holiday break, we had some songwriting workshops. Hopefully, we will be finalising the recordings shortly. I believe we got a snippet of it today, how it's going. I think that's about it. With that, any questions regarding any of the school holiday programs? Nope, perfect. We're going to move to 9.6, which is the youth events update. We had our skate park event recently. We had over 300 people attend, which is really good. We gave away lots of free clothes and books, and we set up some games which kept the families around all day, which was the biggest bit of feedback I believe we received, was that instead of just coming to watch the skating and then leave, the families came and stayed around because we had games. There was also the Rotary was there with their sausage sizzle, and we had a few other vendors around. And we also had the BTS with Jess opening. The Gawler Youth Band was in the music episode, which was uploaded to YouTube yesterday. So I'll get Debbie to pop a link in the page if you're interested. That seemed to go really well from all the feedback we got. The Gawler Youth Band performed as well, so it was a nice start to 2024. We are going to move into 9.7, which is the youth sponsorship review. Sorry, we're going to go back to 9.6. Jack, would you like to speak about the Gawler Town Band? The history thing at the Civic Centre.
Sure. So yeah, I guess quickly, the Gawler Town Band was invited to perform as part of the ambience for the opening of the Threads of Life exhibition at the Gawler Cultural Centre. We had a quartet in attendance, and we played a variety of hymns for the visitors throughout the evening. It was really nice. We were all impressed by the acoustics of the Civic Centre cafe space. And yeah, we also had a quick peek at the exhibition itself and was really impressed by it. And yeah, encourage you all if you haven't seen it yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to 9.7, which is the youth sponsorship review. We still are lost in the waters of trying to figure out what we want to add or take away from this. However, we will be meeting shortly, I'm sure, to finalise the discussion. 9.8 is the Bunyip's Generation Now column. Debbie, if you would like to speak on this.
Yes, thank you through the chair. This has come back up again, obviously. We need to make a decision. Do we wish to keep this? If we do need to put something in each month. And it doesn't have to be a written piece of 20,000 pages. It's 200 words or a photograph or 10 photographs and 5 words. So it can be anything in the community. It can be photos you've captured. You can walk into a store and say, did you know this exists? Like anything about Gawler or anything about anything. It really is anything. So it's the same people over and over, and it's really hard if you commit and then pull out at the last minute because we don't have the backup. So we've, I guess, 11 committee members. We need to make the decision. That's once a year. Are you all prepared to take a photo and write a caption, or are you prepared to write 200 words, or do we want to pass? Which means that we won't have a presence in the Bunyip paper as youth, as our generation now. So that's probably what we have to vote on now, so maybe we can have a discussion.
Just through the chair quickly, sorry Jade. I believe we discussed making this bi-monthly. It has to be monthly. Okay, never mind. Jade?
Yes, I'll also note that the Generation Now column doesn't have to be YAC based. Like if you're part of another group, or if you, I don't know, are doing something at uni or at school, and you want the public to know about it, like this is the perfect opportunity for it. I think people get caught up on thinking that it has to be about the YAC and the committee and council. It can be fun. It can be, this is what I did at drama last week, or come watch, this performance that the band's doing. I've promoted personal projects as well through Bunyip as well, so I don't see a problem with holding on to it. I think 200 words, a picture isn't too hard. We've all done Year 7 English. I think we're all pretty up to standard. Well, have we all done Year 7 English? I forget how old you are. He's done Year 7 English. He knows what he's doing. So, yeah, I'm happy to put my name down as well for an upcoming one. So, yes.
Thank you, Jade. Is there any other discussion, Darcy?
Yeah, I think we should definitely keep it. I think it's really interesting. And it can be fun to write a little column every now and then. And yeah, if we need someone to do one coming up, I'm happy to do one as well.
Thank you. Councillor Davies?
Yeah, I guess just seconding what Jade said about it doesn't have to be about the YAC. Back in my day, back when I was a youth, doing Year 7 English, I wrote a column that was complaining about Game of Thrones, I think. So it's really just, it's from youth, but it doesn't have to be about youth. It's just things, that you're interested in. I think it's worthwhile to have if people are interested.
Thank you. Just through the chair again, we could always... I keep forgetting. I need to we could always go through and speak to local businesses which are just starting up, and even if we don't want to say anything ourselves, we'll just have a chat and do an interview, and we can just copy that into it. And yeah, if you have any further questions or you don't know what to write about, feel free to come to me and I'm happy to help you out. Any more discussion? Chia.
Throw Jack in it, but maybe he could write one as a soon-to-be retiring member about his time on the committee.
Thank you. Through the chair, coming back to that idea. So we need a piece in 2 days. So Abby, if you are happy to take a photo of someone and write something, because you just suggested that, that's great. There's a couple of new businesses opened up in the main street, so but we can do something. So if someone wants to put their hand up, we need one in 2 days, and then we just literally need one in 2 weeks, and then from there each 4 weeks. So we need something very quick, and obviously Jack, if you can be one in the next 4 weeks, that'd be amazing, but if you've got time. But if someone wants to put their hand up for the one that is due in a couple of days, so at the end of the week, our marketing officer is going to be looking for this. So do I have a taker if we're keeping it?
I can do the 2 week one.
2 week one. All right. So Jack's in 2 weeks. What about 2 to 4 days?
Anyone? Look, I'm sure I can ramble about something. There'll be something I can find.
I think Natalie did ask if Abby would go with her to talk to the new vintage store. So maybe that could be a suggestion.
Get in contact with Natalie then. Perfect, thank you. Anything else on that topic? Edward?
So with that, what's kind of With that, what's kind of the limit? Like, not limit, minimum. So I get the 200 words, but with the one photo, is it just one photo and a caption, that's it? Or is it one photo, 200 words, or 10 photos, 5 words? All right.
I'm just going to say, I think it's at least one photo if you have over 200 words. 200 words is a minimum, or a few words describing the pictures, like the alternate descriptions, and then I think more than 3 photos, if that's correct.
Page 33 of the agenda has the terms of what you should be expected to provide. So, yeah. At the top of page 33, there's material on it, which I keep going back to.
Thank you. If you would like to have a read of that. Chia?
I was, through the chair, just going to say, Edward, if you wanted to do something a little bit different, we can have a chat to the marketing officer and make sure they'll accept it if it's a little bit sort of out of the norm from what we'd normally do. Her name's Donna, but she's the one that we give it to. She reads through it, makes sure it meets the standards, and then sends it to the Bunyip to print. So we can have a chat and see if they'd like something a bit different from the normal article with a photo or 2.
Perfect, thank you. I think we'll move on. To 9.9 is the Speak Up workshop. Now, not everyone has flyers, but every few people have a flyer if you'd like to have a look. We have been approached by, I'm not sure the name of the group, but the Speak Up Practical Approach to Public Speaking people. Sorry. They have let us know, and it's in the flyers if you would like to have a read, that the workshop is aimed at year 10s regarding public speaking. However, they are happy to tailor the workshops to the YAC if anyone's interested. It'll be popped, if it's not already, on the Facebook group, and most people have a handout. If you'd like to have a really quick read, and then we'll have a show of hands if anyone's interested. And if not in this particular workshop, are we interested in public speaking training at all?
Just to clarify, would this workshop be done separately to a YAC meeting? So, like a different time, we'd have to be available for that time? Okay.
Through the chair, when we have, we voted to have a YAC meeting every second month. So the month in between is when we schedule other trainings. So we did have a we did have a different workshop. If you remember back, we had a public speaker called Dubsy. It was back in the day, and he was amazing. He's aimed at more academic, end of high school into university, and those of you that got to hear him talk, I feel like coming from a teacher background, it should be compulsory to anyone entering into university or finishing high school or at high school. He was that good, but I've not heard of these people, but it's not to say try someone different, but we can go back and use the same people, or we can look at different options if people are interested.
Thank you. Could we have a show of hands who's interested in this particular group? Ish. Is anyone interested in said training at all from any groups? Darcy?
I think it would be cool to have like a public speaking / interview kind of workshop, because I know once you graduate uni, a lot of people have to do an interview before they get a job. So it's not like a casual job interview. It's like, this is a big deal. And I know I have to do one after uni, so I'd love to have a workshop about that to help with skills for that.
Thank you. We'll hand over to Debbie.
Sorry, I thought while you're on that, this Skill Up course for interview skills, I wouldn't recommend a 14-year-old do that, but it does go through, when you do it, it obviously is self-paced, but it does actually go through applying for a job with council or government or different partners. So it is designed for that uni student. It is actually quite good. It is self-paced. You do have to be disciplined to do it, but you would be ready to approach that, but it definitely would be better in a workshop because it's more hands-on learning.
Thank you. Jade?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add on to that, a public speaking workshop, even just as training for newer members, is definitely vital. And also our yak structure workshop that we had at one point, that's coming up, awesome. I think that would definitely be useful for both reoccurring and newer members. So.
Thank you. Any more discussion on the workshop? No, perfect, thank you. We are going to move on to 9.10, which is yak team building. Does anyone have any ideas regarding team building activities for 2024? If so, feel free to let us know. Comment on the Facebook group, let us know, or send us a message. 9.11 is governance training. Now, we spoke to Susie from governance earlier, and she will be around on the 1st of July from 6 p.m. before our normal meeting. So if we could all aim to get here around 6, it's very beneficial to have a listen to her. Again, it will be popped up on the group, and I'm sure Deb will send out messages to everyone. All right. Item 10 is items listed for discussion at future meetings. Now, we have listed Bryce Norton speaking about the community plan. I'm assuming that will be one of the next meetings. Perfect, thank you. Was there any others? Any more discussion? No, perfect. Item 11, questions without notice. Do we have any? No. And item 12, motions without notice. I'll hand back over to Jade for 12.2.
Thank you. This motion without notice is that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the committee acknowledges that Jack Gill's membership of the committee expires on the 27th of June 2024, and that the committee formally thanks Jack for his years of service on the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Can we have Jade as a mover and a seconder? Darcy. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Yes, give us your spiel.
I've done enough talking tonight, but really grateful to have been part of the YAC, joining out of high school. Really appreciated the opportunities that it's provided me and the networks I've been able to be part of, and the impact we've had as a collective on the township itself. Been very grateful to have met all of you, and wish you all the best with the future, and we'll keep an eye on the live streams to see how you all are doing.
Thank you, Jack. Is there any other motions without notice? No? I think that is a close then. We'll officially close the meeting at 7:28 p.m. The next ordinary meeting will be from 6:30 on the 1st of July. However, we do have our training that day, so please aim to get here around 6. And we have some team building, which is actually Jack's farewell, from 5:30 until 7:30 on the 2nd of June. In the youth space, we'll pop up some meal ideas if you'd like to vote on Facebook, or let us know if you have any ideas. Please inform Deb of allergies. Is that all for tonight? Perfect. Thank you so much all for coming, and thank you, Jack.